Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now it's time for your weekend tech tip, brought to you by Chevy Silverado.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, really quickly, I've got Dwayne from Longview on the line. I want to try to answer his question before we get to the tech tip, our Chevy Silverado tech tip of the week. Dwayne, you've got a question about sturgeon. What's going on? What can we help you with, sir?
First of all, I want to thank you and the program. I've learned so much.
Very, very good. That's what we're here for.
And sturgeon fishing, the question is, how come we don't hear nothing about it? They keep it closed on us.
You got to ask that again, sir. I didn't hear it quite well.
How come they keep the sturgeon closed? We don't hear nothing from them.
Ryan, help me out there, will you? What was this question?
Oh.
Why is it always closed? Okay, so the reason why it's always closed, this is a good one.
It's a good one.
I mean, I've been chasing sturgeon around here my entire life, and there was a long time ago where they were very liberal with our sturgeon retention numbers, right? Well, the two states have gone ahead and allowed sea lions to decimate our breeding stock, okay? We got geniuses that run these two states. It's crazy, right? They let our breeding stock get wiped out. So now our stock of shakers, our undersized, are pretty much gone. Everything in between, the keeper size and fish that are ultimately going to become breeder size, which takes up to 20 years or more, believe it or not, if they survive until we do something about it. There isn't the population. Our population of keeper size sturgeon has been, they're gone. The biggest, and I don't know if that's probably the best way to say it, but above Bonneville, in that Bonneville pool, there are more keeper size there than there is either migrating in or migrating out of the Columbia system from the saltwater. Because believe it or not, they migrate all the way up and down the coast, no matter if it's up into Canada or down into California, San Francisco, all the way down there. They're migrating all over the place, and they go in and out of the Columbia. Well, there aren't as many of those keeper-sized fish anymore, again, because our management is just so genius that they allowed those fish to get to that kind of, to that point. Now, Dwayne, it probably doesn't answer your question specifically to what you wanted to hear, but in the end, that's really what's going on. We don't have the populations of keepers in order to have that fishery. Hence the reason why the Astoria fishery has changed, and really the only place to target keeper size is above Bonneville. Super frustrating, man.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's go ahead and show you something that you haven't seen before. Now, we're going to need a shot with that Kershaw Tech Cam, but you've got a night crawler.
Yep.
You've got 3 hooks. The very first one is a slow death,
right.
And there's different names for them. Different manufacturers have different names, but watch what he does here and find out how you should rig up your stuff too. All right, so you're just going right through the side.
Right through the side, kind of close to the tip of the head as you can get it. Yeah, you don't have to go right through it.
So with that slow death, you are threading it all the way
Threading it all the way up there because it's got the the retainers up there to keep that worm up.
Yep, the little bait bar.
And then I kind of start spreading that worm out, and you got to find where the center section's at, and then you're going to take this down as far as you can to the tail, and pop that in the tail, and then when it lays out straight. It lays out straight, just like that. And I put that green bead on there because I think that is an attractant to them. You know, they see that green bead, and I'll run the second one down here, and I get a lot of bites right in the middle. But that back hook with that all the way at the tail, that still sits there and spins real slow, and you get a pretty good spin out of it. And I use that a lot. Like, it's one of my go-tos for sure, just to hook the worm up just like that, get that slow spin out of it, and it works great.
I will say, I'm glad that you showed it this way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will overthink the hook position or how they put the hook into the worm when they're setting up their baits. They're trying to thread it just perfectly. They're trying to hide those hooks. You don't need to. Walleye don't care. They want the meat. They're an absolute predator.
Yes.
If they see something that they can digest, they're going to eat it, and they don't care where that hook is positioned. Okay, you can just run it right through the side. You don't have to do the little thread to get it just right, to get it perfect.
No.
You can if you want, but you just don't have to. And having that 3-hook setup with that slow death up here, I just think is super cool, man, because I've never seen it before.
Yeah, and it works great, and it doesn't have to be this particular, this is an Eagle Claw one, but, every manufacturer has those out now, and it'll still spin. It doesn't matter. It's still going to make that rotation, maybe not as fast. Does that make a difference? I don't know. I'm not down there, so.
The fish will tell you.
The fish will tell me. I'm getting bit on those, so I'm not going to change it, So once one color starts to go, and that's why the clevis is interchangeable, so that when I do start getting bit on a particular color or a combo, everybody gets one. But when I start the morning, it's usually a white or a glow or something. Everyone's got something different on. And once the fish tell me what they want, then everybody gets it, you know, and it'll change throughout the day. Once that slows down, I'll go to something different. The collar combo will be a little different. The blade will be a little bit different. But, you know, that 3-hook setup makes a huge difference.
So I'm down to our last minute, so I got to ask this question. It's middle of June, basically, so after the first week of June. Water temperatures are now in the 60s pretty much everywhere on the Columbia. Where are you finding them now? What kind of depth are you targeting right now?
For me, I'm still staying deep. I like that 60 foot. If I can get 30 to 60 feet up in there, you know, it's cooler. The fish will stay in there, but you'll catch them all the way up to 20 feet.
Okay.
So it just depends. You know, I'm very to the point. If I catch a fish in a line and I'm making those marks as I go down through there, I will keep making that pass until I don't catch them. Then I move over 50 feet, make the next pass, and that might start in 20. And I might end up in 60, but those fish move. They don't just stay right there most of the time.
Gotcha.
And same thing right now. You'll find them in a little bit deeper water. When I'm up above their, you know, Biggs, Rufus, deeper water.
Yeah.
The deeper water, it works great. And the best thing I tell people that are starting, if they're out there by themselves, if you see a big sled like mine or somebody else that's just pounding one section over and over again, your best fish finder is your eyeballs.
Yeah.
If that guy's over there and he's not moving, he's over there for a reason.
Right. Good point.
I'd go fish it.
Don't encroach. Be nice. Okay.
We're kind of used to it. I'm used to it.
I bet you are.
It's fun.
I get it. Having some heavier bottom walkers is going to help you out, especially up in the areas that he's referring to. And if you go to Rufus, go stop at the store there.
Yes.
Okay. Number one, unbelievably great people, but a phenomenal store that you can get stuff that you typically can't find in other areas, which is one of the
different blades. They've got a different blade setup. They've got a bunch of them. So, you know, like me, start losing stuff. Got to get some more.
You got to get more. We'll be right back, Bill. Thanks for coming in. I'm making you stay with me.
Yeah.
We've got the deal of the week from Fisherman's Marine in just a minute.